Welcome to Quick 3D Tutorials. In the past video we have shown you how to resize your texture map from 1K to 2K. In this video we want to show you how to render color, bump map, normal map, and displacement, and specular, and so on. So the first things we will do is, actually I have just loading the 1K, which was 1024, to render maps a little bit faster. So we're starting by the color information. We're going to the render, dock this to the side, go to the render property, and from here you can choose if you want to have a shadow or not. So in this case, I don't know, we don't need it, so we're just putting ambient occlusion. And any of these things you're going to choose, you can find it over here. So like AO, which is ambient occlusion, you can find the render setting for it over here. So you can just play by this setting to get which effect do you want. So basically we just go by this setting, maybe also shadow, depend which effect do you like, and just press on the render and waiting a couple of seconds, so it's going to render the color information for you. Of course I can also use this preview if I want, so I go to the texture and just grab it. When the render is finished, you can find the file inside the render path, which is the color information, Z-deth, and shadow, we don't have it, AO, and so on. So the thing I will just say here, you can of course save it by clicking on this, but for the color I will do this from here, because when you're saving it from here you will get kind of, sometime you will get some black edge on it. I will just explain it later in Photoshop. So when you are here, you're going to texture, grab dock, and if you want to fill it for using it in Maya or something, you can do this from here, but in this case we don't do. We just export this and find the place do you want to save your file and call it for color or whatever. So now we have saving this. If you want to have the Z-deth, you can one click on it and just save this as well. So we're having it, and ambient occlusion and so on. But in this case, I think the color is not. So when we're having it, we now we want actually to render the bump map. You can find it inside the alpha. Go to something called inside the end of this, we have also another option is grab dock. We just press on it. Same thing if you want to use it in Maya, fill it over, but in this case I will don't do it. Just export this as bump. The bump map and the displacement map is actually the same thing, so you can use this for bump and displacement map. This map we have just saved it. So now we have also this. The other thing we want is actually normal map. So how we can apply it, we need to go to the subtool and turn every of these to be off, this painting brush. So what it's going to do is actually the shader I'm going to select, or the material, it will be applied on all of them. So if you have planning to keep the texture, this one, it will not keep the texture for you. So for the normal map, it will work very fine as you see here. I just need to select this and go to make sure you don't render the shadow, and double check this from here. Ambient occlusion, these things I don't want it. I just render this out. And now we have rendering it, same thing here. Go to the grab dock, fill it if you want for Maya or not. Export this and call it for normal map. So here we have the normal map. For the specular, we want to change to something called matte cap. And we need to play by Photoshop to get the effect we want. Of course, you can also play by the other, how much effect do you want on the specular map to be. And from here we just quick render this one as well, and go to the texture, grab dock, export, fill it if you want, but we just export this as specular. Now we have actually exported the file we need, but that is not enough. We need to go to basically Photoshop here, and just open all these files. So here it is. So you need to actually go to how double check if it is any seam on your texture. The thing I will just say, when you're going to use this method grab doc and exporting it as we have done for normal map, it shall not have any seam. So to test this out, you need to know how big is your texture, in this case 1024. You're going to the filter, go to the other, go to the offset, and half of the 1024 is 512 by 512. So you need just press on OK, and you can see in the central I have non-line inside it. So the normal map work fine, so we don't need to edit on it. So now we're going to bump map it again, the same thing. You need just very quickly go to the offset once again, and you can see we have non-seam over there. So here we have the Z-deth, which was, as you can remember, in the render pass. The layer you will get in the render pass sometime is going to add a subdivision to it, or adding a box, black box. Sometimes it is hard to see it, but if I go to the offset and press OK, you can see now we have getting this seam is going to be continue. So we want to actually remove this seam, so we don't want to have this. So the easy way is actually to remove this. We need to remove 2 pixels each area around of this. So simple, go to the image, canvas resize, make sure you are in the pixel and using this one. Now we have actually 1024, so we're going to negative this by 2, so it's going to remove these and remove this. But before I do this, you need to know, now I have made the offset, I need to undo this, so it is the original image I need to do this with. So make sure you have the original one on, go to the image, canvas size, go to the pixels, and just negative this number by 2, and it will be 1022. Press resize this. So now we have removing this, and now we want actually resize the texture, because if now I check the image size, now it is not 1024. Just apply it to be 1024 and press OK. So these seams should be gone. We can just test this by the offset once again. OK, and now you can see we have not the seam inside here. So that was for the Z-deth. So here we have the texture. If I just very quickly do this, I shall not have any seam, and that is because I have using again the same thing, grab doc. And the last things is the specular, how we can just change this to the specular. And the specular map is basically some map which is black white, something look like these, and you can also see some of example if you want. So we need to convert it to be something like this. So to do this, of course, you can also painting your specular by black white if you wanted some of the special thing, but we're just using this method which is faster. So the thing we need to go to do, select this, and of course this one have not seen because I have also grabbed the dog, so I am not sure. But of course you can just make an offset if you want, just to be sure, so you can see they are not seen. I just undo this once again. Now we're going to the image, we're going to something called lever, I think. Yes, from here. So you need to just slide this to getting it like black or whitish, something not very black, maybe something like this. So when it is black, it will not affect the area. If you want to have this effect, you can just give it a little bit effect for the ground area or this. And when you are happy with the result, press OK. And I don't know if you can see, sometime you will get some of bluish, some of these effect. I don't want it, so I want to remove this. Go to the go to the Control U and remove the color information from this. So now we have only black white image. And if you want a bit more, you can again playing around with this a little bit. I think maybe something like this will be good. And you need just save this for the Specular. And yes, basically now you have creating a tileable texture inside ZBrush that can support nano mesh, that can support insert mesh brushes, which is big object if you want to add, that's supporting tileable texture painting, tileable sculpting. We have not so much sculpting detail on the plane, but it is same thing like the painting brush. And yes, so they are ready to be used in the Maya or whatever 3ds Max application or whatever game engine do you want to use it, or other application. And thanks for watching.